Okay, fans and friends, thank you for joining me. This is session 2 on clear thinking. And the more I think about it, the more I think that our society needs lessons in clear thinking. There is so much bullshit and misrepresentation and conspiracy theories and lies out there that I think there is a real threat to the continuation of our democratic system. Now, last session we covered 3 definitions. If you don't know what you're thinking about or what you're talking about, you literally don't know what you're thinking about or talking about. How many people on your block can actually say in a clear and concise way what truth is, or knowledge, or bullshit? But if you saw last week's session, you would be able to say what truth is and have a clear mental concept of that item. Truth is what is as opposed to what is not. And last week we learned that knowledge is a justified belief that what is true is true. And most important, we learned what bullshit is. How are you going to know what bullshit is if you don't have a clear concept of what it is so that you can compare what you have just heard or seen with your understanding of the definition of bullshit? Bullshit is something that is done for effect without due regard to whether it is true or not. And you will find that most of the stuff you encounter in your everyday life is bullshit. Now today we're going to define 3 other terms that you would need in order to think clearly. The first term is evidence. Evidence is anything that points to the truth. The second term is conclusion. And those of you who have suffered through a classical education know that that comes from a Latin word meaning with an ending. A conclusion is the judgment or decision that you make from analysis of evidence. And the last definition that we will take on today is very important. And next week we will discuss how to analyze statements to determine if they are true or not true, if they are bullshit or not bullshit. A statement, and I want you to remember this definition, a statement is a sentence that makes a definite claim. So if I say, run to the store for me, that is a sentence, but it does not make a definite claim. Therefore, it is not a statement. If I say, it is raining, that is a definite sentence, and it is making a definite claim. The claim is that it is raining. Now, a given statement is either true or false in a given place at a given time. So if I say it's raining and it is not raining, my statement is false. If I say it's raining and it is raining, my statement is true. Now, every statement makes a claim by definition, but it also implies 2 existential claims. An existential claim is something that's implicit in the statement. So if I make a statement like, the moon is made of green cheese, the statement assumes that the moon exists, and that green cheese exists, and that moon is made of green cheese. So it's important to keep in mind that statements make essential implications, not only for what they claim, but for the existence of the things in the statement. So if Hitler says, "We are the master race," he is claiming that he is among the master race. He's claiming that there is a master race and that we, whoever they are, belong to the master race. Now, such a statement also entails other implications. Like, if there is a master race and they are the master race, then they can enslave people because that's what masters do. Now, about evidence and conclusions. If your decision or judgment is of little consequence, you don't need much evidence to decide. If you want to buy an ice cream cone, all you need is a vendor that you trust, the flavor that you like, maybe the money that you need to pay for it. There isn't much consideration or thinking involving that. But in decisions that have consequences, you would like your decisions and your judgment to be supported by evidence. And the evidence should be relevant to the issue, and it should be sufficient in weight and kind and number to support the conclusion. So decisions and judgment of consequence. Pay attention to evidence. Who should be the next president of the United States? Well, that is a big deal. And we would like to know the character of the candidates, whether they are reliable, whether they're liars or not, or bullshitters, what's their background, did their businesses actually become bankrupt for a reason, and so forth. If you wanted to invest $3 million in Microsoft, you would want to know if the company has a reasonable business plan, and if the analysts from Columbia and Harvard and Yale agree that it's a reasonable investment. So the amount of evidence that you need depends on the issues involved. Now, the law feels that evidence is of crucial importance in getting at the truth, because that's what evidence does. It points to the truth. So when people destroy evidence, that is a crime. Arthur Anderson went down not because they had dubious accounting practices with Exxon, no, because they destroyed evidence. Martha Stewart went down because she falsified evidence, and she falsified her statement to investigators. So the falsification of evidence is a serious concern in criminal law and is called obstruction of justice. So that's about it for this session. We've learned that evidence is anything that points to the truth. We've learned that conclusion is a decision or judgment that comes after analysis of evidence. And lastly, we learned that a statement is a sentence that makes a definite claim. And we learned that the statement also makes existential claims. So if I say, the King of France is bald, I am claiming the King of France is bald. I am also stating that the King of France exists, which he doesn't. So always look for the existential claim in addition to the regular claim by the statement. Now next time we're going to go over statements and I will show you how to prove them true or false. Meanwhile, practice your memorized definitions. And happy thinking!